Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are you doing today? Today I have one of my good friends over here, Talha over here. And we both actually went through a similar route with our softwares of choice. I've been using Blender, this guy's been using Cinema 4D. But there's one common thing that we both had to face. We didn't like the default render engines of our softwares. So let's discuss about that. But before that, Talha, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, as always. How about you, brother?
So pretty good. So Talha, would you like to tell the people like how did you got into 3D and what was like the main reason?
I mean, it's a quite long journey, but the short of it is something like that. You really liked watching Dragon Ball, and I wanted to create something like in real life. I had a camera that like Cybershot or maybe pocket cameras, and me and my cousin like started making that very silly kind of like VFX shots with this like those small effects with like shooting blast and that stuff. And from there I like entered in this field and I started exploring things, and there was like whole world that I found after that.
So you basically peeked into the rabbit hole and you just fell into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So speaking of Dragon Ball, who is more OP? Is it Vegeta or Goku?
Zeno.
You just ended the whole conversation over there.
Yeah. I mean, why just go low? I mean, just go higher.
What about Beerus?
I mean, eventually one day they'll gonna overcome that like small dude too.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm still waiting for
yeah.
like the new season for Dragon Ball Super. So let's see.
I mean, we are all disappointed about the announcement of Daima, that new series. But yeah, it's not it's not the super. It's something a side story.
Oh, okay. Something like superheroes.
Yeah, kinda. But it's like officially written by the original author. So I mean,
Oh.
yeah. So I
Gotcha.
mean, we are all disappointed, but we're still gonna watch it.
Well, I mean, perks of being a Dragon Ball fan. But anyways, bro,
Yep.
let's come to the main thing. Why did you switch to Redshift?
Dude, it's all about the render times. I mean, I can achieve some sort of like similar look in both like native render and like Redshift, but the time difference is like worlds apart. It's so long. It takes so long in like default physical render. I mean, just to give you an idea, I basically posted a test comparing like both renders in WhatsApp group. You remember with S24 Ultra's render?
Yep.
The same setting, same look. Not the same setting because it's barely translatable in both renders. The same settings. Basically, I tried to get the same kind of noise level and almost similar looks in both render ranges. And Redshift took almost 1.5 minutes. Can you guess how long physical render engine, native render engine took?
Probably like 8 minutes.
32.
Damn.
Is that much of a difference? So yeah, that was the main reason.
Was it rendering on the GPU or the CPU?
CPU, it's a CPU based. That's also a reason.
Okay, so could you quickly just tell the audience like what were like the top 10 advantages that you got for like switching over to an external render? Because for me, when I switched from Cycles to Octane, I immediately saw like a massive jump in my quality just because it was a non-biased render engine. And just because of that, I just had to place like 3 lights and boom, I got the same results that I used to get on set whenever I used to light.
For me, like getting a quality bump, improvement in quality was a factor too, but the main factor was that was a deciding factor was speed, obviously. But there are a lot of things that were also a deciding factor for me. Mainly the node render. Cinema 4D's default render didn't have the node render node like setup at the time for materials. Now it has, but a lot of people still don't like it. So the Redshift one, the original Redshift one, the Espresso node tree system was more popular and still is more popular and mostly used. and it is like so easy to use, and you can do a lot more things with it. Cinema 4D's native renderer, like it for me, it was like limiting my ability, like limiting my talent. Exactly. It's something like I couldn't use properly and more efficiently like stack textures, or like I was not able to be like creating some sort of layer based materials. I could use like one or two texture in a single slot, with like fusion or layer effectors, but it was like quite complicated for that like slot type materials. But with node based system, it's very easy, and it's you can follow everything from like top to bottom what you've done at where you've put it, so it's very easy to follow a node based system.
Now, more particularly, why did you go for Redshift while you had like Octane and other render engines? Why Redshift?
Redshift, it was similar. I mean, to be honest, I tried Octane, but it was like a good render, but compared to Redshift, I didn't find it like that appealing at that time. And obviously, again, the speed Redshift at that time was like quite a bit faster. So I wanted to get more results quicker, because at that time I only had like 970 GTX. So that was like not a very good card. At that time when it released, it was, but when I got it, it wasn't that, because there were like GTX 10 series maybe out there.
Oh, okay.
So
You were basically like one generation behind.
Exactly. Still am, but I'm planning to upgrade. So that was the reason, because I think at that time I was getting like 20 to 30% speed benefit in like Redshift.
Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So, I mean, there were also like other options, and still there are like V-Ray.
I've tried like a lot. Yeah, I've tried some of those too. But my main reason with sticking with Redshift was one, the speed benefit. Basically, it's one of the fastest render out there. Second, it's like non-biased. Third, like it has like node. At that time, it was one of the only few renderers for Cinema 4D that has like node-based material system. V-Ray didn't had that. Like Arnold was like very strong with that, but it was CPU based at that time, so it was slow. It was like really strong, but it was slow. V-Ray was like in between. It was not that well optimized and didn't had like node-based system, but it was better than natives. So I thought I had to switch from like native, and these are my options. I'm gonna go with somewhat that is really good, and somewhat that will gonna give me like really good speed improvements.
Gotcha, brother. Gotcha. And you're a 3D artist. I'm a 3D artist. We know the difference between a biased render engine and an unbiased render engine, or a non-biased render engine, as we like to call it as well. So could you just educate the people on this matter like really quickly?
Okay, it's like quite complicated to explain, but I'll try to keep it short. Non-biased render engine is something where you have to do like quite a bit of tweaking to get somewhat close to real look, but unbiased I just got it reversed. Unbiased render engines are like you are out of the box getting like realistic results, and biased render engines will gonna give you the realistic result. Obviously they are like pretty strong, but they have a lot more flexible options. You can tweak a lot more settings to get that result and optimize that result according to your need. But it's all about your workflow. If you want to get the results quicker, like you don't want to get into the settings of everything and adjust everything according to your need, you want to just place a light and materials and like adjust a few settings and hope you'll gonna get like really good results, you should go with like bias rendering. But you are kind of a person like who likes to adjust every little aspect of your rendering, like how the light should like interact with your objects, what is your GI settings, what is your like rays, how your rays will gonna interact with your render engine, how the caustic should work, like everything, like every little aspect of your render engine, you should go with like unbiased.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's all
So,
about the optimization.
so, bro, let me ask you one other question. Like, when should someone switch to an external renderer like Octane, Redshift, V-Ray, instead of like their native render that they're already using?
I think it's not that easy nowadays. If you are like using Cinema 4D, Cinema 4D just basically made Redshift the default now. So I think if somebody who's new to Cinema 4D and like started in like 2023 or 2024, maybe he's gonna be using Redshift by the default. So I mean,
Okay.
Cinema 4D is out. I don't know about 3ds Max and Maya right now, and with Blender, I think it's cycles at the default.
Yep.
And I think you can achieve somewhat similar look in cycles, but I think it all depends on like what kind of a work you are doing and how much like what kind of a quality do you expect with your renders, and what kind of a speed. These three factors should be like you should consider. And if you think like you have to work with like very top notch quality, you should be like getting very good results, and you should be getting those results faster. I think you should switch to other render engines if you are like still working with your default. If you are fine with working with default render engine, and you think like you don't need to like switch your render and learn something new, I think you are better with your like current setup.
Exactly. Because, bro, I mean, the streams that we're doing right now, I get this question a lot, and you already know what I'm about to say.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
how can I switch to Octane? And I always tell people like one thing, dude, first of all, you'll need to master Blender itself, then you'll need to master
Exactly.
the Cycles render engine, then you should think about like moving on to a next render engine. Because, I mean, dude, I know a lot of people who are using Cycles and they are producing amazing results. I mean, just look at Moonshack. I mean, dude, his renders are like photo realistic. I mean, I could even drop a couple of renders over here for the people as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are like really good renders.
I know. And that's with like
Yeah, I
default
mean-
cycles. So it's
Ex-
more so like if I put it in my own words, it's just a tool in the end of the day, regardless if you're using
Yeah.
Blender Octane, Blender Cycles, or if you're using native Cinema 4D or like Cinema 4D with Redshift. It's more so like what sort of vision do you want to present? Because as we just saw in these renders, this guy is doing all of this with just his native.
Yeah. In the end of the day, I mean, tool is as good as wielder, right?
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, you cannot expect a swordsman to be an expert sniper, but yet again, you can expect like a good swordsman to wield a katana really well. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's all about what you need and what you expect out of your needs.
exactly. So with that out of the way, so bro, I got a question for you. How
Okay,
much
go on.
changing a render engine has helped you out as an artist?
I mean, it helped me a lot. I mean, a lot ton. So the only reason that it helped me that much because of the speed. I mean, if I get like 10 to 15 times faster a render time switching to like any third party render engine, in this example, Redshift, I mean, it's gonna help me get produce more things really quick and more quality stuff faster than I used to do before. Yeah.
I get it, bro. I get it. But anyways, bro, I mean, I think that's about it for now. But would you like to like include a message for the audience over here?
Yeah, I think I have. I mean, let's say I am approached by a new artist that getting like a lot of questions these days, and I'm basically teaching some of my few friends. And so, for the starters, I think what you should do is like have a good inspiration. Like you should have a goal, like where you wanna be in like next 2 or 3 years. So you have a clear goal, and follow a certain set of rules, and basically make your own schedule, and like set a rule that you have to do this in that amount of time. And basically, there is a thing like, how should I phrase it? It's like motivation is everything. No, motivation is not. Consistency is everything. You're gonna be motivated for like few days, and that motivation will gonna die off. But if you are consistent, your motivation, if you don't even feel motivated, you're gonna do the work because you know you have to. I mean, that consistent mindset and have a clear goal, and you know how to like reach there. Basically, reaching there is like follow some good course or like good tutor is really the key. I mean, in these days you don't have to like pay someone. YouTube is like really a good resource for you. Like you can learn really good stuff there. So I mean, that's it for now, I think.
So yeah, bro. And also, ladies and gentlemen, really soon Talha and me are going to be doing another podcast as well. So that podcast will actually be about the hidden superpower that all 3D artists have, the passive income.
Exactly.
So yeah, until then, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and God bless you all and your families. And also, if you want to follow
Bye.
Talha as well, if you also want to follow Talha as well, his socials will be in the description as well. So yeah, peace out.